Conversations lead to conversions, and conversions lead to contracts, which equal cash and cash flow. My name is Alex Pardo, and we have reached the final part of a 6-part series on the 16 ways to find off-market self-storage deals. And I have saved one particular strategy because I believe it's an effective way that is uncommon and just not that often used in terms of connecting with owners. And I actually got a bonus one for you that I think you're really going to like and appreciate. So here's why this matters. A lot of storage investors are chasing overpriced listings. They're relying on getting deals from brokers on LoopNet and Crexi. And a lot of the smart investors are quietly leveraging these strategies to spark conversations and dialogues with mom and pop storage owners, because again, those conversations can turn into deals. Now, over the past 5 episodes, we've talked about 15 different ways to find storage deals. Everything from cold calling to direct mail, to Facebook Marketplace, leveraging bird dogs or property finders, the rent gap sniper method. I mean, these are just some of the strategies that I've talked about in the last 5 videos and podcasts. And today, I'm going to be covering number 16, and that is email marketing plus a bonus strategy. So stick around for that. But remember that I want to encourage you, do not feel like you need to leverage or use all 16 or 17 strategies. In fact, I would tell you the opposite. I want you to go an inch wide and a mile deep. I want you to just pick 1 or 2 strategies, get really, really good at those, create a system, get leads generating before you move on to the next one, okay? So strategy number 16, and again, this is the final part of a 6-part series on the 16 ways to find off-market storage deals, and it is email marketing. Now, guys, email still works. I believe email will always work. And here's the great thing about email is, unlike a lot of platforms like, for example, Facebook Marketplace or storage Facebook groups, you don't own that platform. But guess what? When you have an email list, that is an asset. You own that email list, provided that these people have given you the ability to be able to contact them. Now, here's the caveat, and I want to stress this. Guys, it's too easy to do things the right way, to cut corners and do them the wrong way. What do I mean by that? Is do not just do what I know a lot of people do, which is like hire a scraper on Fiverr.com or go collect a bunch of email addresses and then just start spamming people, right? You want to go about doing things the right way. But here's one thing I will tell you. Mom and pop storage owners check email, and they check it often. In fact, I know for many people, email is easier and more effective. Not for everybody, but I've spoken to several storage owners who would prefer to communicate by email. On the flip side, I've also talked to storage owners who don't even have email. But the point is that you want to meet them where they're at. And so this is a strategy I definitely want to highlight and cover because for many people, it can be less intrusive than a phone call or a text. And it could be a good way to connect with somebody, especially if you've tried calling them and you can't reach them. It's also very scalable, and you can automate the process. You know, there's different email systems out there like Aweber and Constant Contact and Beehive. I mean, there's a lot of different services out there, but building a targeted email list of mom and pop storage owners can be one of the most powerful and valuable things you do. Now, you can find emails online. It could, in some cases, go to the county property appraiser records. You can go to Secretary of State, business registrations, opencorporates.com. But here's one of my favorite ways to do it is go directly to the website of the storage facility, assuming they have a website, which I would say probably 60 to 80% of them do, if not higher. But go to the website, click on the contact us page, right? Usually that's the link all the way to the top right, or maybe it's all the way at the bottom. And many times what I find is that whenever you see a personal email, like a Yahoo, a Hotmail, a Gmail, sometimes even AOL, believe it or not, like these are indicators that it's a mom and pop run facility. And then I like to grab the email, and then I will send them an email. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about best practices for email campaigns. But once you come up with a message and a really, really good attention-grabbing subject line, you can now outsource this to a VA. And you can be building a list. Now, I like to email them once, maybe twice, and make sure that they respond and that they're cool with me emailing them. I don't just grab them, throw them into like my Aweber or Constant Contact, and then just start like spamming the heck out of people. I do know people that do that. You're not going to get that feedback and advice from me, but just know that there are people that do that. And in some cases, they've had success with it. So take that for what it's worth. But when it comes to best practices for emails, like I like to write and communicate as if I'm talking to a friend or somebody that knows me. Keep it short, punchy sentences. Do not write long emails in paragraphs. You want to grab their attention with the subject line. You want to get to the point. You want to talk like you're speaking to a human. I would encourage you not to go to ChatGPT and just copy paste with a bunch of emojis, a bunch of hyphenated words. I mean, you can read it a mile away when something is generated by AI. So you don't have to overly complicate this. Now, I don't mind if you use ChatGPT or an AI tool like Grok or Gemini in order to clean up your email and make it as if give it the context like, hey, you're a world-class email copywriter. I don't mind that, but write it first, right? Keep it simple, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines max, short, punchy sentences. Don't make it look like it's a big blast from a company or a big corporation. Write like you're writing to one person, right? Think of that mom and pop storage owner, that storage avatar, the person that has owned this facility for a number of years, and they might be getting ready to retire, and they're just done with the business. So I like to use sentences that maybe end in a question or that invoke some level of curiosity, like curious, ... or this is interesting, or quick question about your facility. Are you open ... or are you open to an offer? These are just some ideas of subject lines that you can use. This is where a tool like ChatGPT or AI can really be a good thinking partner for you, and let it know, give it a really strong context, let it know what you're trying to accomplish, and it'll spur up a bunch of ideas for you. And then, as with all marketing, it's just a matter of testing. I can't speak highly enough, I should say, to the importance of being compliant. Okay, and following the canned spam rules and all that stuff. I would avoid spammy words like cash and guaranteed and anything spammy like that. If you were to read it and think it might be spam, then it probably is. I also want to share with you one of my favorite emails, and this is something that we used to do in our wholesaling business. Once a month, we would send the 9-word email. Now, the 9-word email was made famous and popular by a brilliant marketer named Dean Jackson, who the 9-word email is basically like, are you open to, and then insert whatever your product, service, or offer is, right? So it could be, are you open to an offer on your storage facility, ? Now, it's not always 9 words. It's okay if it's 7, 8, or 10. The point is that you don't want to put, hey, person's name, comma, are you interested? And then sincerely your name. No, literally the body of the email is, are you open to an offer on your storage facility? Are you still curious, or are you still interested in selling? ? And then you want an invoking, curiosity-driven email subject line. Think of email subject line like direct mail, the envelope, the writing, the stamp. If you don't get the person to open the envelope, then they're not going to read the letter, and what good is it? Just like if you can't get them to open it because you don't have a very good email subject line, then what good is it? They're not going to see your message. Why does this work? It's simple, it's conversational, it invites a reply without any pressure, and it puts the ball in their court. This is a really, really effective email to send to people who have ghosted or that maybe you can't even get a hold of. And so think of the 9-word email. I do like to send a follow-up email if I don't hear back 3 to 5 days later. Not sure if you saw my email, but just curious if you'd consider an offer. That's an example. So send 2 to 3 emails before you just stop, because again, you don't want to be spamming people. And whatever I say or anybody else, just make sure you're following the spam laws and rules and all that good stuff. It's too easy to do it the right way for you to cut corners, get in trouble, and have an issue down the line. So that's my caveat and disclaimer there. I want to transition. So I've now given you 16 different ways to find mom and pop off-market storage deals. I want to give you a bonus strategy, and that's text message marketing. Why does text message marketing work? Well, open rates are oftentimes 90% plus. Owners will respond to text messages quicker than they will email or phone number. Oftentimes, text messages can cut through the noise if you do it right. Just like email, Make sure that you're following the TCPA compliance laws and all that stuff. Now, there are tools out there like Launch Control, as an example, that will send text messages out essentially in bulk, or maybe not in bulk, but like you literally just click a button and it just sends out a pre-crafted text message. I have one of my first coaching students in the storage space many years ago, and somebody who now is part of our community, Storage Wins. This is one of his favorite strategies to connect with storage owners, and he has bought some facilities doing this. He has several messages that he's crafted. He's got a virtual assistant that just clicks a button on his Launch Control and sends out I think he sends out hundreds of these a day, believe it or not. And he's been very, it's been very effective for him. Now, this is not a strategy personally that I've used. I used to do this in the single family space when I was wholesaling a lot of single family homes. I have not yet done this. It just hasn't been something I've focused on. But as with anything, quickly identify yourself, give them an easy way to opt out, follow the laws, and then never do a blast out without permission. I keep highlighting some of these disclaimers because I just want to make sure that you guys don't have any issues down the road, or that you don't have any issues down the road, I should say. Best practices: keep the text message short, casual, conversational. You're just connecting with another human being. Always remember that whenever you call, send an email or text, you're talking to another person at the other end of that. That person they could have children, they could have parents, they have a story, they have oftentimes goals and dreams. You're talking to a person. You know, golden rule of life: treat them like a person, treat them the way you'd want to be treated. And some simple examples of text messages: you may or may not have their name, but hi, I came across your storage facility, whatever the name is. Would you ever consider an offer, comma, or probably not? And there's some psychology to why you might say or probably not. I won't get into that now. Another one could be, hey, just checking in if you've thought about selling your storage facility on insert address or the name. Timing matters. So I would avoid sending anything prior to probably 10 or 11 a.m., especially if you know you're contacting somebody on the West Coast and you're on the East Coast. So I think anything after 9 a.m., you're probably safe. Anything before 6 a.m., 7 p.m., you're probably safe. As with anything, track responses. And if you have a CRM, a customer relationship management system, again, I do have somebody in our community that has been very effective. It's been an effective strategy for him to consistently connect with mom and pop storage owners. And yeah, it's an easy, automated, and scalable way to connect with people. So imagine now if you chose this along with email and cold calling, and those were the 2-3 methods that you focused on. And what does that do? Well, it's going to allow you to connect with people. When you connect, you can have conversations. When you have conversations, that can lead to conversions. Conversions lead to contracts and cash flow. So all these C's are tied together. I need to come up with something creative with all these C's. But yeah, connections lead to conversations. Conversations lead to conversions. Conversions lead to contracts. Contracts lead to cash and cash flow. So look, I've just highlighted a few here. And you can take any one of these episodes and string them together. This is the kind of multi-channel marketing that we go deep on inside of our Storage Wins coaching community. This is just one phase out of our 3-phase process and system that we teach people to find, fund, and close and operate on storage deals. We're not talking about theory. In fact, we literally just finished our group coaching call where we went deep on underwriting. And so now that you have these conversations, figuring out how do you analyze these deals? How do you come up with an offer? And so we go step by step. We give you all the tools and resources you need, and we hold you accountable, which is something I think a lot of programs and communities are lacking. So that is how we've had several students and Storage Wins members close deals like Kate, Casey, Mario, and some others. And so I want you to pick 1 or 2 of these strategies, double down, and then reach out. Let me know how it goes. Make sure that if you're not a part of the Storage Wins Facebook group, it's 100% free, that you join that. There'll be a link below. And if you've been following this series and you've enjoyed it, and you are serious about buying your first or your next storage facility in the next 6 months, I'd love to help. Head over to storagewins.com, book a short 10-minute call. We'll have a conversation, find out where you're at, where you want to go, and whether or not the Storage Wins community is the right fit for you. And if you want to try that text message system, check out Launch Control. My buddy's over there. I don't have any affiliate link or anything like that, but we'll include the link below. I think if you just go to launchcontrol.com or just Google Launch Control, you should be able to find it. And that's just a tool that I'm aware of that can help you if you want to go ahead and leverage this particular strategy. So you now have 17 ways to find off-market self-storage deals. The only question is, will you take action? And if so, on which one? So I'll leave you with this. A coach of mine always says, what is the right next thing? So I want to leave you with that. What is the right next thing for you to do that's aligned with your goals, that can help you progress and move in the direction of what it is you want to accomplish? What is the right next thing? So my name is Alex Pardo. Hopefully you've enjoyed this 6-part series. If you're not subscribed to the Storage Wins podcast, what are you doing? Subscribe to the Storage Wins podcast on Apple, on Spotify, or any other platform. Make sure you're also subscribed to the YouTube channel so that you're notified every single week with fresh content on storage, where we teach you how to find funds and close and operate this incredible asset class that can generate you cash flow, help you build wealth, and experience more freedom in your life, because that is what it's about. So with that being said, I look forward to connecting with you on the next one. Have an amazing day.